never posted a photo of his wife and child or anything that would let you know where he lived, just because of the
And then it went to 1
potential
hour,
for retaliation.
25
Like the
minutes.
cops are like, hey, you know what? It's one thing when you release our
What in
names
the
and our
fuck?
photos. That's one thing. But on top of that, because you've already put us in danger, now you're putting our families in danger. And all we're doing is trying to do the right thing by the people that we protect and serve. I mean, that's a pretty crummy situation. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the Biden administration is doing to get that imprisoned Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich out of Russia. We'll get into that in just a second. Hi, Nick Faliofini. Oh, no, sorry, Soren. I've been talking with you all morning. Soren, it's great to have you back. Thank you. There is a what's going on kind of a 105.
What happened to Nick Faliofini, you fucks? Give me him back. God damn it. Oh, I like when your phone makes sounds because you're fucking power cord. Stop. Oh, open. Yoshi. Next. Stream your camera.
506 on your wake-up call. Karen Shavers, good morning to you. What efforts are the Biden administration making, or is the Biden administration making, to get that Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich out of Russia?
Start now. Yosh, now what? You have to be logged in and shit. Oh, internet disconnect. That was really good. What's going on here? This sucks. Yoshi. Ding, ding. Yoshi. Oh, 4 minutes left. Bev. She'd be like, restart it. I'd be like, Beverly, it's just 6 minutes of restart. Highest speeds in the industry. Fuck you, college industries. Yosh. Remember when it was like, oh, yeah, dog. What's going on here? Yosh. What's this? Oh, okay. Now we're connected.
Okay,
try it again. Log in. Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch? Oh my Christ, Wayne Brady? Greg Popovich? Yoshi!
Let's put the focus back on this guy, and this just shows that the West is trying to infiltrate us again.
Oh, dog. Continue with custom RTMP. He was arrested last Wednesday on a reporting trip about 800 miles away from Moscow. He's been accused of collecting classified information. That thing kept disconnecting, so that's not very good. The Wall Street Journal has vehemently denied the charges. He had pleaded not guilty in a closed court hearing where his lawyer and the media were not allowed in. Currently being held in a place where from a KGB prison known for holding high-profile prisoners. This is like dial-up speeds, man. Dude, I saw 1 megabyte per second. That was crazy. 2 minutes 39 seconds left, yo.
Thank you so much for the update.
Dude, you could dive in.
Thank you. See you later.
Fucking hate this shit.
I mean, it's the timing of it that all seems so suspect. If he's been over there since 2017, why all of a sudden did the Russian authorities go, hey, you know what? We're pretty sure this guy's a spy. But there's no coincidence that we just happen to be upset with the U.S. right now. Let's get back to some of these stories coming out of the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The latest effort to recall LA City Council member Kevin De Leon has failed. Organizers got just over 10,300 signatures. That was about 10,000 signatures short of what they needed to put the recall question on the ballot. The recall effort was in response to racist remarks made by some LA City Council members who were secretly reported over a year ago and leaked in October. You have to wonder if this wasn't Kevin De Leon's idea all along. He knew that they weren't going to be able to get those, or he was banking on, I should say. He was banking on these recall organizers not being able to get the number of signatures that they needed, which is why he's just like, hung on. He's like the cat on the back of the couch, you know? He just dug his claws in. He's like, I'm just going to dangle here for a while. The people are going to try and get me off the back of the couch, and they're going to try and get me out of the meetings and whatever, but I'm just going to sit here. Hopefully, when push comes to shove, as it did with this vote, there won't be enough people to push him. Apparently, there's not. The LA County Board of Supervisors has voted to reduce county jail crowding by moving severely mentally ill inmates designated into designated safe beds.
The board is asking for the addition of 500 beds where people struggling with mental health issues can be quartered instead of being with the general population. Board member Hilda Solis says the move must be done carefully with public safety a priority.
The safety of those in the community and the safety of those we are welcoming back to our community.
Republican Supervisor Catherine Barger says the frustration is that they talked diversion,
but we don't have beds to divert to.
The motion passed yesterday 5-0. Chris Adler, KFI News.
The Long Beach School District has agreed to pay $13 million to the family of a woman fatally shot by a campus security officer. Mona Rodriguez was left brain dead when the officer shot her through a car window after she and another girl got into a fight outside Millikan High School. Attorney Michael Carrillo says the woman's family says the money will not bring Mona Rodriguez back.
Now, it will help Mona's child for his upbringing, for his growing up, for his adult life, thankfully.
The school district policy on use of force says an officer cannot shoot into a moving vehicle or shoot at a fleeing person. The family's attorney says the district did not get much pushback when the lawsuit was filed. And the police officers who stopped a school shooting suspect in Nashville, Tennessee, have described what it was like going door to door looking for the shooter.
When we went through the doors, the shots continued. From my training experience, I knew those sounds to be rifles. We came upon a T intersection. We didn't know if the shooter was to the left or the right. Smoke was everywhere. Very similar to the training we received.
Okay, so we get to go T intersection, whatever person.
Who all say they'll never forget that day last week. 6 people were killed.
And don't be one of these people. No, you go.
9-year-olds. And we have more on what they have to say coming up
If you're there at the
5:33
same time,
with
that's cool. Then always be
Jim Ryan. You know what? I want to hear from these guys.
There should just be like a thing there. That like, oh, this person gets to go.
And I want to hear what they had to say. Like, I feel like this is a stage. If they want to stay up there and talk for, a day, good. They deserve it. Let's give them that respect in that time because, man, they ran right toward those gunshots. All right, we come back. What exactly did former President Trump get charged with yesterday? What might his team be able to get him out of? What things
Yoshi
stuck on? We're going to get into that with ABC's legal analyst Royal Oaks in just a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
So let's get back to the drive with Soren and Crump checking out.
You almost said
that
Nick
drive
King because you want to suck this guy off.
North Carolina, the 405 in Sherman Oaks there is another work zone to be aware of. They have the transition of the 101 shutdown. That'll be in place in, 6 a.m. I'm taking a ride leaving Corona on the westbound side of 91. Already seeing some slowing starting at the 15. It'll stay slow up and on until we reach the 241. Can't find this guy. I'll get you the faster. Sorry, Crump.
Attention Southern California,
That's somebody's
Semper
dog.
Solaris is ready to install your solar now and complete your paperwork in time for NEM2.
Really? Yeah.
They have teams working around the clock 7 days a week and have processed over 35,000 applications and counting. No one works harder than Semper does with esprit de corps and honor. Go solar
Hey, should we
American
name for
style.
fathers?
Declare your independence with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar contractor who gets their job done right. Imagine no money out of pocket, no payments until 2024. Call 877-211-5591. Worried about blackouts? Tesla and Enphase batteries are in stock. Plus, Semper offers new furnace and AC systems with a lifetime warranty.
6 seconds,
and
5 seconds,
new
yeah.
roofs with a
4
50-year
seconds.
warranty.
A few
Don't
seconds
wait.
left.
Get your solar system installed
Open
by Semper
file.
Solaris before net metering changes and rates go up even more. For all offers, call 877-211-5591 or visit sempersolaris.com. Approved credit expires 4/12/2023. CSW number 978-192. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer over 50 different custom window treatments, including faux wood blinds and shutters, all at prices less than retail. Plus, we'll send you free samples before you buy. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com. This is Doug Allen. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by the Play It Forward Foundation.
The Lakers beat the Jazz in an overtime thriller. It clinched them a spot in the play-in, but they can still take a top 6 seed in the West. According to Forbes, Clippers owner Steve Ballmer is the second richest team owner in the world. Rams owner Stan Kroenke ranks 14. The Dodgers beat the Rockies. The Angels were blown out by the Mariners. And round 1 of the Masters tees off tomorrow morning in Augusta. I'm Trey Bender.
The Play It Forward Foundation, or PIF, elevates and equips elite young athletes through NIL branding to support their development and secure their future. Learn more at piffoundation.org. Play It Forward Foundation, creating opportunity. John here. You've heard me talk for years about Cutting Dental, Southern California's premier dental practice. They're pioneers of the all-on-4 teeth-in-a-day procedure. Plus, they can handle all your dental needs, from bridges to braces, fillings, cleanings, root canals to cosmetic dentistry, and more. If you're scared of the dentist like I was, don't worry. Cutting Dental can put you in a gentle twilight sleep or full anesthesia. I've been going for over 20 years. Call now for free exam and x-rays, 888-640-SMILE, 888-640-SMILE. Restrictions apply. If you own a small business, you
got the radar here.
And you were able to
Microsoft Visual C++ plus 2015-22 redistributable. Oh, okay. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to run right then. Really? Oh, yo, what else would you like to run then? You're trying to do something? Let's just give it to you. Why don't you ask all the fucking questions you want? Hard apps, evidence, take your stream to the next level. Does it have disconnection protection? Oh my god, why did we fucking think of that? This girl was just hit the bowl. This Are you done? Recording? Oh, live streamer, baby. It's the only way. Okay, select the platform. Oh no.
So to find out if your business qualifies, go to getrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button. It only takes a few minutes.
What in the fuck did I just hit?
Getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
What the fuck?
You lost your cat up the street?
Yeah, way up there.
You can't even fucking sign in.
Be careful, mister.
Yeah, dude, all that shit's fine.
Here you go.
I doubt it's gonna work.
Come from, and where's your map and tape?
What? Oh, no, your mom and dad called us to clean out your shower drain.
Why?
They were up a tree too.
Okay, this is great.
So you're a hero?
Then
Try to
what?
be every day. We're rooter heroes.
Wow.
We make sure you live in a safe, clean
Did it
house.
include the other shit? Custom.
They have developed a
Oh my
device
god.
that can allow law enforcement to disable
Yo,
their car remotely. California would take this and say, anybody driving a gas car car, we're going to shut it off.
Yes, they would.
What they would do. Well,
Really?
install
You're fucking
there.
right.
They
They
was
would.
to save our children from being run over. It's like, oh, stop. John and Karen. No. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI. And on
Yes.
demand anytime on the iHeartRadio
Oh, you were logged into this website? When? Remember when you were logged in like 20 minutes ago? No. This is your first time on this? We have all your cookies and shit, but it's like, yo, dog. Can't get no. Remember when you tried to play that song and make the party felt? Really? Maybe I just haven't played the guitar. Oh, dog, I like it. Showed everyone in passwords. Tablet here. W-E.
throughout the city.
Well, sometimes
President
double
Trump has pleaded
talk
not
to DJ about
guilty
it.
in New York to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. What exactly does
On
that
occasion,
mean? Let's pick apart those charges
Okay.
with ABC
So then it was like, yo,
Royal Oaks. Well, it's been a while. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
he's like, bitch, I was here this week. I remember.
You too. So tell me about these charges.
I remember
What
when it was
exactly
settings.
are they? Explain how this could add up to a felony or couldn't.
Sure, the DA's theory is essentially two
Oh,
parts.
Yoshi.
One,
Then it was like,
Donald
oh,
Trump
spinning.
falsified business records. How
Really?
did he do that?
Yeah,
Well,
it was really
he
nice.
decided to pay
Really?
Stormy Daniels on
Yeah,
the
it would go
$30 grand
spinning.
to slam her up right before the
Updates to your
election
stream.
in
Okay, no, I get it.
2016. So he didn't want
Settings.
to just write her a check.
Stream
He said
key.
to his
Yoshi.
lawyer and fixer, hey, Michael Cohen, you pay her and I'll reimburse you. So that's what happened. But on the books of the Trump company,
This
it says legal fees
is the most
to
bullshitted
Michael
thing
Cohen.
I've ever
It
seen in
really
my
was legal
life.
fees. It was a
This goes
reimbursement
stuff
to
like
Michael
this. I love
for
it.
paying off Stormy Daniels. That's one.
I don't think this computer
But wait,
changed
there's
it.
more.
Wow.
It kicks up to a felony if he did that.
Oh, it kicks up to a
commit
felony.
second crime.
Oh, bitch.
Now the mystery
That
is, well,
that
what is
shit
the
is
second
dumb.
crime?
Oh,
We've got
kicks
a lot
up to a
of
fuck. Like
information
what?
yesterday,
What is the
The DA's press
what is the
conference said
penalty?
it tipped his hand.
all these
Well, the second
maximum
crime could be an
sentences and
election law
shits?
violation. With federal
Done.
law, well, state prosecutors
All right,
may not
go
be able
live.
to do that. Or could it be a state election law in New York?
Oh
Well,
hell.
he's superseded
Log
by federal,
in.
so he's got an ace up his sleeve.
Okay.
Possibly,
No.
it's a
Yoshi.
Cohen got 100
Check it out,
grand
dog.
for Trump, and he reported it
I
to
swear to
the
fucking God, this is so complicated. Yoshi.
That was a lie. He didn't earn
The lie
130
detector
grand. He simply
determined
got
that was a lie.
for what he paid to Stormy.
Oh hell yeah.
Nutshell. Against Donald Trump.
Yoshi. Okay. Live. Yoshi. Oh, live channels. ViralRabbi. It's like, oh, you were just typed this in. Why don't we put it in the bottom? Oh no. No, 2 followers, dude.
More than it does a President Trump problem.
You're right, and of course, he did some time, and the judge let him out because of the pandemic, and it was very dangerous to be behind bars with COVID and so on. So now,
Sure
Michael
don't let
Cohen
me
is
do
going to
it.
be testifying against Trump, and he's going to be trying to climb inside Trump's brain and explain that, yes, the DA is right. Trump
Yosh.
did intend to falsify records. Trump did
What in the fuck?
to break
Yosh.
another law by concealing
What is this thing called?
payments to
Kick?
Stormy Daniels. So that's really going to be the essence of the case against Trump, because there won't
Yosh.
be much in writing, I think, because Trump famously doesn't do paperwork. But there's another witness, David Pecker, who was CEO of the company owning National Acquirer.
Drop frames detected 26%. That doesn't matter to me. That's like my life. My life is drop frames. Only 26%. Yosh.
So those are going to be the two star witnesses against Donald Trump.
Okay, so if you're the prosecution, though, I feel like
Okay,
it would
stream.
be a little
Oh,
more
got it.
positive,
Offline.
or you might feel a little better about hanging your hat
2
on
followers.
Pecker versus on
Pecker?
Michael Cohen, because
What did you
Michael
just say,
Cohen,
girl?
I mean, it's going to be, people are going to feel like, well, he's got an axe to grind. Of course he wants to go after Trump. He already took it on the chin this way. So it would almost feel like he would put his testimony
Or
out
just chatting
anyway.
live?
Yeah, I think you're right. The problem with Cohen is that he's got so much baggage. He's really weighed down because he is a disgruntled employee who did
What
hard
in the
time, and
fuck is this shit?
in his heart of hearts, what he really wants to do is see Donald Trump behind bars, just like he had to do. He used to say, "I'd take a bullet for Donald." I think David Pecker is going to be a very important supplement to the DA's case. It's a very weird, Jennifer, to me that they didn't have the next hearing until December, 8 months from now. And
Oh
so,
my
as
Christ.
a result,
Yosh,
we're not gonna see
look
a
for
trial
him.
until next spring. Apparently, the DA wanted a trial
I'm
in
sure it's
January.
streaming.
Trump wants it well into
Live?
2024, and you scratch your head and you say, doesn't he want to get this in his rearview mirror?
No
Apparently,
way.
he wants to continue to suck all the oxygen out of the room. Nobody's talking about Pence, Nikki Haley, or Ron DeSantis.
Right.
And until Trump's legal troubles are over, that probably is going to continue.
In many ways, this is brilliant by not just his legal team, but by
Yosh.
his political team, because they're looking at this. Hey, he has garnered, I mean, this has pushed him, obviously. He's got this wave behind him of people who say, you know, hey, this is the most ridiculous, this
projector?
is literally trumped up charges,
I don't know.
witch
Okay,
hunt
fuck
again.
me. Yosh.
This has put him right back into the forefront. And I thought what was so interesting is, I haven't seen the actual picture yet, but I guess they're selling T-shirts on the Trump website or political website for it that are
Media file.
but made
Video
up
capture
photoshopped
device.
ones of him behind bars. And the reason that into the conversation is because they're making money off of this. They're getting headlines off of it.
They deviated from the rules yesterday. They did not force him to have a mugshot. I mean, they figured we don't have enough pictures of Donald Trump. But the interesting thing about what you say is that whereas it is a positive in the short term for Donald Trump, it may be a devastating negative in the long term. A survey of 7% of Americans think somebody under indictment really shouldn't be running for president. Well, what about if you're under indictment for two things? What if there's a trial coming up? We could be going from Trump fatigue to Trump utter exhaustion. And the betting is that the Democrat playbook is let's keep Trump in the game. Everybody should be talking around next year. He'll get it because nobody's been talking about DeSantis or anybody else, but he'll be easy prey for Joe Biden. And, arguably, perhaps the only person on the planet Joe Biden could beat would be Donald Trump. So some say this is really great for the Democrats. And, of course, the Republicans point out, what a coincidence. The DA in New York is a Soros-funded Democrat. The judge is a Democrat. And the Republicans answer with a question, I wonder, if Bernie Sanders did what Donald Trump did, would Albert be prosecuted?
On two halves. One prosecution, one defense.
You can't.
You're the prosecution in
Shut
this
the
case.
fuck up, lady.
What are you going after?
Yoshi.
What is your number
ViralRabbi?
one thing that you feel like?
He personally wrote those checks to Michael Cohen for $35,000 month after month. He knew that it wasn't for legal fees, even though that's what the record said. So it's pretty automatic that he violated the falsification of records law, but that's a misdemeanor. Then the DA's strong point would be, of course, Donald Trump intended to make sure that the Stormy Daniels story was buried, and that's a violation of law because you have to be honest about the money that you put into a campaign, and he hid that. So I think that's the thrust of the case.
Okay, what about now if you're the defense team? What do you go after?
I think they tried to stress the fact that Donald Trump is kind of above it all in terms of general ledger entries and bookkeeping matters, and he did tell Michael Cohen to take care of the Stormy Daniels thing, but it's not illegal to pay hush money to people. And Donald Trump is going to say, I don't know from business records, and you want to believe Michael Cohen? I think the thrust of Trump's defense is Michael Cohen is a convicted liar. He hates me. He's a disgruntled employee, so don't believe him. I think that's how people are going to square off.
All right, Royal, thank you as always. It's been a pleasure.
What the fuck is that, yo?
All right, talk to you soon. Take care. All right, bye. That's ABC's legal analyst, Royal Lowe. That guy. I haven't been able to talk to him in a while. But clear back when I started my career, I'd say 5 years into it, so 25 years ago. I remember when I got to a station that had ABC as an affiliate, and it was, oh my gosh, you get to talk to Royal Oak. I remember it was such a big deal to me because I knew how incredible his reputation was, and I knew how smart he was. And I just remember being so nervous, thinking like, holy crap, this guy's gonna see I don't know what I'm doing. And he has been such, not only a professional, but just a consummate gentleman throughout my career. He's just, that's a good guy right there, people. That's all I'm saying. All right, this is not good. And producer Ann and I were talking dog dumping grounds. So apparently there is a property. The guy owns a property in Lancaster. It has been referred to as a dog dumping ground. And there's this pet dog rescue in Studio City called Wagmore. Wagmore got a call about these dogs that were living basically starved. And not because of this guy, because of people who were dumping these dogs on this guy's property. And he said they just go, but then he got overwhelmed by the amount of dogs that started showing up. And so Wagmore Pets went to this property, and they found is the biggest thing. They also saved 10 puppies and immediately took them to the vet. Apparently they were super, super malnourished. Because as you can imagine, their moms were malnourished. So what kind of food were they getting? Now, they say that the whole goal now for Wagmore to get these, 40 dogs and 10 puppies into homes, the thing they're trying to do is make sure that they are fed and happy and safe for the rest of their lives. So if you're interested in adopting one of these, Wagmore Pets in Studio City is where you should look. All right, when we come back, we are going to talk with ABC's Jim Ryan this morning about those 3 cops that spoke out yesterday who were the real heroes in the shooting in Nashville at that Christian school. We'll hear their stories coming up in just a moment. Let's get back to Soren now, checking our trouble on the 10.
Before the area, reports of large rocks in the right lane. Authority caused some damage to a couple of cars. They're stranded on the right shoulder. And seen a crash
Settings,
north downside of the 605 as a solo car crashed into the shoulder wall on the transition to the 5 north.
What the
Seen
fuck
from
is
Soren
this?
approaching the transition road. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. The Soren Crown.
Yo,
Hello, Veronica.
following.
National Beer Day is coming, so I'd like to book a room for Monday,
Yo,
and
dog.
Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday too. And now the top 5 reasons to visit Morocco. Number 5.
Ice cold beer makes you want to
Reconnect.
National Beer Day is the 7th, and all our beers are specially priced at all our bars.
Number 4.
Easter Freezy. Eat a free and yummy chocolate bunny April 9th.
3.
The legendary Wayne Disney live this Friday. Get tickets now.
And the number 2.
Safari Quest giveaway. Get some Swiss sunglasses and a chance to upgrade your Ray-Ban when you earn 500 points on your rewards card the 10th or 11th.
And the number 1 reason.
Yo, this is ridiculous. I swear to God, that's not what it is.
Stunning view and a delicious buffet at a special price.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo, good time for everybody.
For over 35 years, we at Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, live, ready to fight for you. And to date, we have recovered more than $15 billion for our clients. So, if you've been injured at work or in a car accident, you
That was
deserve
really cool.
more. Contact Morgan & Morgan today. Just dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Losing your air conditioning on a hot summer day can be a sweaty old nightmare, and no one wants that, Zach. Help your air conditioner last longer and reduce breakdowns with a rejuvenation.
We'll make 6 critical adjustments so you'll stay cool, use less energy, and increase the life of your system.
Yo, she's on
Outdoor
its
oil is the right way, not the easy way.
Rejuvenation. Just $129.
Insurance companies advertise that they're here to take care of us when hurts, but try to stiff us when it's time to pay.
The insurance company's job is to keep those insurance premiums and pay out as little as possible.
Thanks, OPO. Now we know. 888-OPO-WINS. OPOLaw.com.
Jackie Robinson. On Saturday, April 15th, when the Dodgers take on the Chicago, but the first 40,000 fans in attendance to receive a Jackie Robinson jersey presented by UCLA Health. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion.
This is Jacob and Ronnie. If you've been in an accident, call 844-24-JACOB.
KFI AM 640.
iHeart radio station.
More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Welcome to your Wednesday morning wake-up call. I'm Jennifer Jones Lee. Some of the stories we're watching in the chaos. The latest effort to recall LA City Council member Kevin De Leon has failed by that many signatures. Organizers got just over 10,300. They needed over 20,000. And at least 20 police officers across the state are at risk of losing their badge. Some work for departments in San Bernardino, San Francisco, Stockton, Roanoke Park, Redwood City, as well as Sonoma, San Diego, Kern, and San. They're accused of such crimes as rape, child porn, extortion, excessive force, and destroying evidence. This is the first public list since the state became the latest to decertify officers for serious misconduct. It's the Commission of Peace Officers Standards who will decide their fate. Let's take good morning now to ABC's Jim Ryan. Jim, I wish that I had a platform to give these 3 officers, I don't even care, 48 hours just to talk about what they saw that day, what they felt that day, what went down that day, and how they risked their lives saving as many people as they could in the shooting at that school in Nashville.
Yeah, I suspect those stories are going to be part of law enforcement training for some time to come, Jack. If you look at the body camera video that came out of that as well, and then hear their accounts yesterday, the 3 primary officers who were involved and others spoke yesterday
Is this like an internet
that
thing?
incident a week ago Monday at the Cowden School in Nashville, the shooting that killed 6 people, 3 students and 3 adults, and then the police response. And yes, that Sergeant Jeff Mathis, Detective Michael Colazzo, and Officer Rex Engelbert are the primary officers who rushed in. You've seen on this body camera video. They had a coordinated, well-trained, well-thought-out, and very quick response, bringing that standoff, that shooting incident to an end within just minutes of arrival.
You know, I think you and I noticed one thing. These three officers, when they started talking, they didn't start talking about themselves right away. I'd be like, I stream my life 24/7, 360. Sideline to sideline, girl. Sideline to sidewall, girl. Are you done, lady? This is just the worst.
It was a series of serendipitous accidents that had him in a position to get to that school very quickly with these other officers, get inside, make a search of the lower floor, get upstairs where they heard gunshots, and then confront Audrey Hale, the 28-year-old shooter.
You know, when Colazzo was kind of describing what went down, he's going through what he can remember, every second of it, you know, hearing the shots through the door, going toward them, saying, I knew they were rifles. We went upstairs, got to a second floor hallway. Once in that hallway, the smell of gunpowder was in the air. It was so crazy because listening to his words, he sucked me in like I was there. The way that and you can tell that's how vividly he remembers every moment.
It was part police report and part first narrative of what was happening that day. You know, details laid on top of details, but also describing his personal feelings about the whole thing. And you know, I think that 30, 40 years ago, it was difficult to have to hear officers speaking that personally about their experiences like this.
When they got done with, you know, with their talks and things like that, I know that people have been, because we're talking about God or whatever, whoever put us there that day, that it was meant to be. And I can only imagine the outpouring in the community for these officers. How do they ever get back into the day-to-day operation of being a cop with this sort of well-placed notoriety on them?
Well, I think part of it is confronting it, making public apparent. Well, you know, they were told to be there. I think that the three of them would rather have been somewhere else, but the chief says, I'd like you to get up, I'd like you to tell your stories, and by doing that, you know, it's kind of a catharsis for them. It gets it off their chest, gets it out of their conscience. It tells people what's going on at the time and what they did about it. And I think that allows them in a way to get back to work on the normal beat that they do.
All right, well, God bless them, Jim. Thank you so much. I
Shut the
appreciate
fuck
it.
up. Why don't you have a
See you
fucking
later.
thing at the
Jim Ryan.
wiggle wag walk for?
Chicago
Oh yeah, it's a wiggle wag
selected
walk
union
and the
organizer
fucking thing
and
for these
former
fucking
teacher
three cops.
to be its next mayor. Brandon Johnson was endorsed by the Chicago Teachers Union. He won yesterday at runoff against former Chicago school CEO
I'm always like,
Paul
oh, dude, there are tons of people.
It's time for everyone in Chicago to put aside their differences.
Oh,
It's
okay.
critically important that
Yo,
we use this opportunity to come together, and I've offered him my full support on his transition.
Johnson will succeed Lori Lightfoot, the first Black woman and openly gay person to be the city's mayor. About 5,000 white-collar GM employees have taken buyouts. GM said yesterday the offers will save about $1 billion per year.
Yo, what's this thing called?
ABC's Daria Albinger says that's about half of the $2 billion the company wants to cut annually by the end of next year.
GM offered the buyouts to employees with at least 5 years of service and global executives with at least 2 years service, part of the company's transition from internal combustion to electric vehicles.
GM says it has a goal of selling only electric passenger cars by 2035. The company says it's taking steps to allow it to maintain momentum and remain agile. Volkswagen recalled 143,000 of its Atlas SUVs in the U.S. because of a faulty sensor on the front passenger side that would switch the airbag system off during certain conditions. VW has advised owners to avoid letting people sit in the passenger seat.
The company says the vehicles may not detect a front passenger, and that could prevent the airbag from deploying in the event of a crash.
Now, the National Highway Safety Traffic Administration said yesterday the problem is sporadic. Still, if you have a Volkswagen Atlas SUV and you take your kids to school or something like that, now it's going to be, you know, one of these chauffeur situations. You're going to want to put the kid in the front seat now, next to you, the passenger seat. Kids are riding in the back. Or in this case, it could be a couple, and honey, you're riding in the back. That's a little crazy. And then I just saw this story. Volvo is recalling the Volvo S. So it's the S60, the B60, the XC60, XC90, and C40 with build dates from late 2022 to March 2023. So the very new puppies, because it has to do with an issue that could cause a false warning light in the gauge cluster. So that one's not going to necessarily be a safety issue, but it is something that would make you go, oh no, really? I have this brand new car and already it's got a engine light coming on in it. Apparently, it is a false warning light that you don't need to be worried about, but still, come on, nobody wants that. And a company in Gardena says it hopes to recycle 100 million tons of non-recyclable plastic by 2030.
This app
Picking
sucks.
through piles of plastic. Last year alone, we took on over 130
No one
tons
cares,
of
lady.
garbage trash. Biofusion CEO Heidi Kujawa stood next to 15 plus feet high mounds of flattened plastic, enough to fill the back portion of their warehouse in Gardena. Heidi says the plastic is the kind that can't be recycled. The stuff would normally end up in the landfill or incinerators. But Biofusion has taken the plastic, compressed it with technology and a machine the company developed to create cinder block-like things called BiBlocks. 22 pounds of plastic makes a 22-pound block. They're lighter than its concrete counterpart and more durable. Remember, plastic was intentionally designed to be strong. It was never designed to be free to go away. The multicolored blocks have been used to help build homes, bus depots, and most recently, a bench installed at a park in Inglewood. The bench used more than a ton of plastic waste. For more, you can go to SpectrumNews1.com. So Juan, KFI News. We have a shortage in Southern California, specifically in Orange. Beyond with the EMS medical director of Orange County in just a second about who they're looking for to fill these critical roles. That's coming up. Right now, let's take a look at your drive. Soren's got the 605. Northbound side in Santa Fe Springs, there is a crash. Emergency crews have arrived on scene. It's blocking the transition of the
Come on, bitch, let me see it. Show me
Show
what you're working with.
Road. And it looks like it's starting to slow down for your ride. Through Downey on the westbound side of the 105, your trip right now from the 605 to LAX is 30 minutes. KFI to stay up to either faster. Soren from.
Bill and Kathleen, owners of American Vision Windows, in business now for over 23 years.
Our mission statement is to revolutionize the home improvement industry one customer at a time while changing the lives of our employees for the better.
Happy employees means happy customers isn't just a snappy slogan.
We really, really value our employees. Like, deeply care for them. Those are the beautiful lives that are impacting and talking with and connecting with the customers.
They don't just make it a policy to provide white glove service. It happens organically.
We've literally given half of the company back to the employees.
I am, once again now, 23 years later, very energized about what we sell.
It's a burden of responsibility. Quite simply, we just want to help.
For a limited time, American Vision will pay the tax or choose free expert installation. Call 888-226-9908 or visit AmericanVisionWindows.com.
Props. Okay, 24/7.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Connected to the boat champion, Alfred Williams. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
The Lakers beat the Jazz in an overtime thriller. It clinched them a spot in the play-in, but they can still take a top 6 seed in the West. According to Forbes, Clippers owner Steve Ballmer is the second richest team owner in the world. Rams owner Stan Kroenke ranks 14th. The Dodgers beat the Rockies. The Angels were blown out by the Mariners. And round one of the Masters tees off tomorrow morning in Augusta. I'm Trey Bender.
Intelligence runs in the family. Innovation runs in the family. Extraordinary runs in the family. The Mercedes-Benz range of SUVs. Every member is waiting to impress. Learn more at MBUSA.com.
A light source system gives you filtered and delicious water straight from every tap. It filters out chlorine, other contaminants, retaining healthy minerals. The life source system is maintenance-free, no filters to change, no salt, no servicing. They install it, you forget it. Own a life source water system for only $75 per month on approval of credit. This ends April 30th. Call 800-803-2696, 800-803-2696. Visit lifesourcewater.com. ROTHSCHILD.com. Growing a business brings pressure. It's not easy to maintain momentum and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. Their scalable HR solutions help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving my employees competitive benefit options. When my people are able to thrive, my business can adapt and prosper. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
So you and I have talked about SolarMax technology for years now.
Yes. Listen, I did a ton of research back in the day. SolarMax was clearly the best. SolarMax is going to build a custom solar system like they did for me with the most innovative technology. All of it's under one roof right out here in Southern California, Riverside specifically. They're going to provide you with highest quality solar panels, inverters, and battery systems in the industry, hands down.
And you know what? Now is the best time to get solar because you're going to get more electrical production in the spring.
Okay,
Save big, call SolarMax, and get a 12-panel system for $0 down and $59.99 a month. It's the most powerful solar panels on the market.
Plus, you want to lock in your NEM 2.0 benefits by April 13th.
That's right. Call SolarMax, start saving money by spring on their 12-panel system for $0 down, $59.99 a month.
Now, pound 250 from your cell and say that keyword SolarMax, pound 250 SolarMax, or go to solarmaxtech.com.
Monthly payment available on approved credit. CSLB number 97248.
The bills start coming, and they don't stop. Medical bills, dental bills, car repairs, rent that's due. Funds people need but just don't have. As a nonprofit, JFLA has been helping people overcome financial challenges since 1904. We provide zero interest, no fee loans so that emergencies don't mean financial ruin. Support our efforts and learn more at jfla.org. You need to loan yourself? We're here for you at jfla.org. Golden Voice presents Power Trip. Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden, CDC, Ozzy Osbourne, Metallica, Tool. You'll have 10 tickets for the entire Power Trip weekend. VIP camping at the Safari Tent Campground. All thanks to Golden Voice. Register now to buy tickets at powertrip.live. On sale tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Enter your chance to win now. iHeartRadio.com/PowerTrip.
Portions of the following program will be recorded. Okay, we have a homeless problem, so let's take money for medical and move it into homelessness.
How about taking defense money and putting 10,000 homeless people on an aircraft carrier?
We're going to throw housing in there. We're going to throw housing for the homeless. How about education? Well, we have to throw housing for the homeless.
Bill handled.
Where do you go with that? Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI.
And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's your life that we're going to be talking about in just a second. I'm Jennifer Jones Lee. Former President Trump is pleaded not guilty in New York to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Now, the judge set Trump's next in-person court hearing for December 4th. That's only about 2 months before the official start of the 2024 Republican presidential primary calendar. And cops in Beverly Hills have announced the arrest of a suspected grease thief. Used cooking oil had been stolen from multiple restaurants that may have been hit. Doesn't seem like it's high on the list of things to steal, but not a criminal, so what do I know? Let's say good morning now to a gentleman who I hope is going to help us fix a problem in Southern California. Once you hear his plea, Dr. Carl Schultz is the medical director, the EMS medical director. Absolutely. When I read this, it's not good because if you've got a paramedic, that's just going to be a big ripple effect into the amount of time it takes to get paramedics to your house and things like that. And then if somebody's life really is on the line, that could be a life or death situation.
It could. We've been fortunate in Orange County that although we do and have experienced an EMS shortage for paramedics and EMTs, it has not substantially impacted transport time for ambulances. So when you call 911, pretty much the response time is unchanged.
Okay, is this private or are these county, or do you guys all work together when somebody calls 911?
To keep it very simple, Orange County does not have a county health system. per se. We, at the county hospital, we contract or make arrangements for both fire departments that are part of cities and cities that are private, and they work together to provide the service we call 911.
What is it specifically that seems to be causing this shortage? Retirement, salaries, anything that you can pinpoint?
It's really the perfect storm. It's a bunch of different things. The catalyst that drove it all, though, was pretty much COVID, and that seemed to deter people from going into healthcare, and that was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back.
I know that towards the, I guess you could say we're toward the end of the pandemic, or that you had more people who said, hey, you know what, we know that the pandemic did drive some people out, but then it also motivated some people to want to get in. Do you have any recruits coming in who say, you know, what went down last time we want to be a part of should something like this ever happen again?
Not a whole lot. There are always going to be some, but what seems to be the issue that's allowing people to start coming back in is salaries are starting to go up a little bit. That was a big motivator, and there was a lot of concern about some of the restrictions that were put in place for paramedics. They had to wear personal protective equipment and masks and all that, and some of that has not gone away, but is less invasive, and so it's more attractive for them to come to work now and sign up for becoming a paramedic.
What is the average salary of a paramedic? Or let's just say, what's the starting salary and how high could you go?
That's a good question. I'm more familiar with what the EMTs make, but paramedics can make a fair income now, probably into the six figures in some places.
Wow, so that's huge incentive right there. When you start out, what are the training requirements to become an EMT or a paramedic?
Well, there are actually formally licensed schools that accept recruits or accept applicants, and they go to a training program. The paramedic program is more rigorous and lasts longer. It's months. The EMT program tends to be shorter, maybe 1 to 2 months, and then they do internships either at hospitals or in the field if you're a paramedic, and then they're licensed. So it depends which of those two you pick, but it is a commitment.
Okay, and with the cost of that school, I guess, that's got to be prohibitive for some people to think, hey, I've got to pay this money. I really need a job. And is the county doing anything to say, hey, we could pick up the cost of your school or anything like that? Are there any of those incentives in place?
If we could translate that easily into a sort of a, if you do this, then we get that, that'd be great. But we don't really have a contracting mechanism. We could pay for somebody's education. They could do it and then take a job in LA or Riverside, and there's not much we can do about that. So it makes it hard to try. We're not like the federal government where if you sign up for the military and you pay for your education, then you owe us 4 years. Wish we could do that for people.
Right. Okay, so you were mentioning the other counties, Riverside, LA. How does Orange County compare with these other counties? Is this a Southern California-wide shortage that we're seeing?
It's not only a Southern California-wide shortage, it's really an industry-wide shortage across the country. Everybody is feeling it. We in Orange County tend to be a more attractive place to work. We have not had as much of an issue with it as other counties.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Where can people go if they want more information on becoming a paramedic or an EMT, or just to see what you guys are all about? Where can they go?
Well, we have an EMS agency in Orange County, and reaching out to the EMS agency asking for what are the licensed EMT schools, the licensed paramedic schools. Also, fire departments are involved in this as well, so reaching out to them would also be helpful.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Doctor. I appreciate your time this morning, and best of luck to you recruiting new people.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks. You too. See you later. That is EMS Medical Director of Orange County, Dr. Carl Schultz. 6 figures. I mean, that's pretty good. Is it enough to be happy to this next story? Ish. No surprise that a lot of us are struggling with the high cost of living, right? But what salary specifically does it take to live happily in California? There was a study from Purdue University and GoBankingRates.com that put that number at, here we go, Tyler and Ann and Michelle. Do you think it costs to live happily in Southern California? I think this would be just for one person to live happily in California.
$1.5 million.
All right. Producer Ann, what do you think?
I'm going 250,000.
Okay, Michelle?
I would say the same, 250.
Handel, are you listening in there? Hi, Handel. Handel, how much do you think that the average person needs to make to live happily? Oh, he's not. I thought he was looking at me. All right. It's $145,635. Now, don't ask me why the 635. I don't know. This number apparently is slightly down from last year. Does that mean we're bargain shopping these days?
Yoshi,
But it still says
Wish
a
your
lot
hair.
of money is needed
an exceptional
to
storm
live
website.
in the state that is dealing
Oh, that's
with one of
good.
the
That's
highest
a good sign.
unemployment
Hey,
rates in the
WebSocket.
nation.
I'll give
The
you one of
citizens
these.
of
That's good.
only
Oh,
Massachusetts and Hawaii need a higher salary. I get
launch
Hawaii,
this box.
and I get
What
that
the
there's,
fuck?
you know, it's
You're
still
offline.
in Massachusetts, but Massachusetts? LA County planned to hire non-officers to respond to mental health calls has hit a snag.
The county is having trouble hiring mental health practitioners to serve on mobile crisis teams, which are called out instead of sending armed officers to respond to people having a mental health crisis. The county board of supervisors has instructed staff to offer incentives, hopes of getting more people to apply for the position, which board chair Janice Hahn says are impactful and life-changing, but also very difficult jobs. Along with hiring incentives already in place, county officials could now offer things like signing and other bonuses, higher pay for certain shifts, flexible schedules, and a sabbatical program. Amy King, KFI News.
Well, officials in LA County have issued a $20,000 reward for information about a woman missing since 2015. The LA County Sheriff's Department said yesterday the woman was last seen leaving her home in Little Rock in her black Mercedes-Benz SUV. Her car was found days later, 7 miles from her home. The woman's father says the car had scratches on it. He says it looks like maybe she'd been run off the road. Investigators say it is possible that foul play was involved. An owner of a ranch in San Diego County that's being investigated for mistreating its horses has allegedly pointed a gun at a photojournalist. CBS 8 said last week one of its journalists went to the ranch to investigate the reports that about 40 to 50 horses were getting substandard care. The reporter at DTFI in the Sky in the Five.
In commerce, there's a
Dash
that
off,
popped
dish
up.
out.
It's near William Boulevard,
Dash
full
out.
car pilot. 3 cars made it
They're
over the
German
shoulder,
wiener
one
dogs.
still
Right
open.
dogs. Really? Yeah.
Trail of brake lights starting after
Are you
the
done?
tries to attack inside of the approach
Okay,
to
you're
the
offline.
light.
So that was a really nice story. It was telling.
Ride on the westbound side of the T10
Really? Yeah.
Venus that starts to load at
And then what?
I couldn't come
Dumbass
close
is
to
listening to
warning
this
an
right.
HR person. They
He hasn't been
emailed
introduced.
me a few times, but there's an answer here. Bambi.com. Bambi.com. I'm Mark Hope, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I told you about how your nose is the body's air filter. That Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage?
What?
Like Haley, quote, Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now, and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks.
Oh my
I
God,
bought
for weeks.
Navage. Amazing. For this one, I use Navage every night. Could not imagine life without a 5-pack, and before I found Navage, there was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better, unquote. Those are two of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen his social
figure
security
it out.
number? Not me. Nope. Oh no. It's been stolen.
Did it download?
iClock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at likeforlike.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Hello, Morongo. National Beer Day is coming, so I'd like to book a room for Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday too. Now your top reasons to visit Morongo.
Easter preview. Get a free and yummy chocolate bunny April 9th.
Number 2.
The legendary Wayne
city have. They're not blue balls, they're red balls. The few balls. And now, Handle on the news. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Bill Handle.
Remember there's stuff.
640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Wednesday morning, April 5th. We are well into spring, even though it was 40-something degrees when I got in the car this morning. So spring has sprung. It's wonderful. Let's say hello to one and all. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. Highs today in the mid to upper 60s.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, your wiggle waggle.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a T-shirt.
Wiggle Waggle Walk shirt. And thank you again to you and everybody who helped us raise $13,700.
Number one team.
That's right. Woo!
Where's my shirt?
I have one for you somewhere. I think it's in the car.
Will you wear it this time?
No.
Okay.
But that's okay.
They'll give it to me.
Yeah. It's very yellow.
Yeah, I love the color.
Yeah, very yellow with a dog thing on it. And it said whatever it says. Okay.
25th annual Wiggle Waggle.
Wow, pretty impressive.
Thank
Okay.
you.
No,
Oh, wait.
it's a great cause. What?
Do you guys
Tell
see
everybody what you just found in your
Oh,
shirt.
she pulled something out of her shirt.
I
know
pulled
what
a
it is.
sock out of my shirt.
Oh, yes. There's a small band sock
Yes.
that...
That's when it was lost.
Wow.
Wow.
That was embarrassing. Right.
Well, I can't. First of all, it's radio.
You don't
Nobody can
have
see
to. You don't have to stuff your bra.
Yeah, as long as the people in the world that don't need to stuff their bra, you're right there at the top of the list. Okay, just to let you know.
But how cute are my socks? Little pink and white bands.
Yeah. By the way, was
Wow,
that
that's embarrassing.
enough to get me fired? Total sexist, misogynist statement.
You
They're
have
fine. I'm not
to try harder.
Okay, Wayne, good morning.
Bill, good morning.
Michelle, still here.
Good.
Anne, who is soon to be by herself. Morning. Good morning. And Tyler. Bill. Yes.
What's in your shirt, Tyler?
Hopefully nothing, but you never know. It says something on your shirt. Sports Illustrated. Oh, okay. No, I don't wear t-shirts that have things on them. I just don't. I don't know why. You've got like weird Trader Joe's shirts. I have a lot of Hawaiian shirts.
Weird 66
Yeah,
shirt.
get rid of that
Oh,
ugly
Yeah, that's the big. I don't have T-shirts. I know you hate that, Michelle. I don't have T-shirts that have anything written on them. You guys do. Also, sweatshirts. No, you don't do that. I got a couple of Trump sweatshirts that I'm. No, I don't. Although a friend of mine, who's been, I've known him for years and years, did send me a Leo MAGA hat. And I don't know what happened to it, but like $25, is what he paid for it. Those are not inexpensive. I think they're $47 now. No, those are the T-shirts. Those are T-shirts that the campaign photoshopped his picture, Trump's picture, as a mugshot, which of course didn't happen because his photograph was not taken, and that was used to raise another several $1 million. Okay, let's do it, guys. We are now engaged, as we always do this time of morning, Handle on the news. Jennifer, Wayne, me, lead story.
I'm guilty as charged.
Obviously, the tweet yesterday, the charging of Donald Trump. I'm going to do a lot more of this at 7 o'clock to try to explain what's going on. Needless to say, both sides actually, in terms of the criminality here, have a point. This is a real legal issue that's happening here. And so I'll dive into that. But 34 counts, of which they're really not 34 counts. There's actually 3 counts here. But we're, how did it roll over to a felony from a misdemeanor? I'll explain all of that. But he pled not guilty, and it was a possibility that he wasn't going to say anything, that his lawyer would stand up and plead not guilty. But no, he did. He did. And here's another one really quickly.
He pleaded not guilty and said that the only crime he's committed was defending the nation.
Yeah, that was a Mar-a-Lago later on when he got off the airplane and went to not a rally, just a ballroom with his absolute staunchest supporters.
He said, God bless you all. I never thought anything like this could happen in America.
Yeah. Let me ask you, this is Marjorie Taylor Smith, Michael Lindell was there, all of his Marjorie Taylor Greene, sorry, all of his staunch supporters, most wealthy, And they all sleep well because they all sleep on a My Pillow and have lots of them. Just want to point out, what's the average number of pillows these people have? I'm willing to bet in the dozens. Okay, 7 o'clock, I'm going to do more. And you brought up the shirts. This campaign is selling for $47. I don't remember if you mentioned that in addition to the fake mugshot, it also says on it, not guilty. And that's why he wants them to. Here we go. Here's the quote. Are you ready? What better way to prove that our campaign will never surrender our country to the left's tyranny than countless grassroots patriots proudly wearing their very own not guilty t-shirts? That's the pitch. And you can get one for only $47. Yes, own the lid for $47. You know, I like, I'm going to dive more into this, as I said, at 7 o'clock. But I love statements like, this is the worst day in the history of this country. Far worse than, for example, April 15th, when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Far worse than when Pearl Harbor occurred. Far worse than the depth of despair in Valley Forge. When America was close to losing the Revolutionary War. All of that doesn't compare to today. And his followers go, yes, that's true. I love these politics. I just love them. There's a new celebrity arising from all of this, and it's one of the cops that was outside the courthouse in Manhattan who has caught the attention of a lonely male America. If you go to @BillHandleShow on Twitter, you will see a photograph of the scene, and it'll be very clear which police officer in the photo is drawing so many admirers from around the globe. Dudes getting on Twitter and saying things like, she can cuff me anytime.
Hell yeah. We're going to see this bitch.
That's gone viral.
Who's this bitch?
And Tyler pointed out when I was talking about the worst days in America, I left out 9/11. And I should have included 9/11 as one of the days that were not as bad as yesterday for Donald Trump. The hot cop. Very stoic at one point.
Let's see how hot she is. Let's go 1 to 10.
Oh, there's the photo I put up of her smiling because she was the only one there.
I like this Jew with the
who
kippa.
was like vibing with what was going on and not being nothing but a scowl-faced menace, which all the dudes there were like, and she was more like, I'm doing my job, there's a problem, I'll handle it.
Otherwise, I'm a police officer.
Let's take a break. Then we come back.
Stop it.
Plenty more. There's Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Apple's getting rid of jobs in its corporate retail teams. The groups are responsible for the construction and maintenance of Apple retail stores and other facilities around the world. And we're yet on an actual number. Looks like California classrooms are not as full. Enrollment this year is down by almost 40,000 students. That makes it 6 years down in a row. And Volvo is recalling a number of its models that range in date from late 2022 to March 2023 because they have an issue that can cause false warning lights in the gauge clusters. We'll get a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky in just a moment.
If you're looking to pull $75,000 or more out of your house, it makes sense right now. First of all, you built a ton of equity in your home over the last few years with that stuff. You know, the value is sort of straightened out or flattened out. Also, interest rates have dropped, so maybe it's time to grab it right now. So let me suggest HMS Capital can help you borrow the money you built with your equity. Their service is tremendous. I've done 2 mortgages with HMS Capital, so I can easily recommend them. And best rates that I found when I did those service, well, you'll see when you go to HMS Capital. No appraisal or credit report fees to apply. Call the folks at HMS Capital at 833-255-5698. 833-255-5698. Visit hmscapital.com.
This is too fast. No one knows what you're saying, and it's too fast. You should say it.
SoCal weather from KFI. Mostly sunny today with highs from the low to mid 60s. We should see the 70s, maybe even close to 80 by Easter Sunday. This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Let's get a look at your drive with BKFI in the sky. This time we're going to the 5s.
First on Saturday summer, going back to the earlier crash reported here, launched its mechanical car pilot. Good news, cleared that from lanes. All the new lanes are open, but your ride is still struggling from the 605. A new trouble spot just popped up in Van Nuys South Coral side of Burbank Boulevard. This is also crashed, taking the left lane. It starts to jam up at Sherman Way. KFI is trying to get it faster. It's going strong.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Want to stay big on custom footwood blinds, shutters, cellular shades, and more? Shop Blindster today and save up to 50% over comparable blinds from brick-and-mortar stores. Get custom blinds at low prices and free shipping at Blindster.com.
This report is
Does anybody got a
sponsored by
fucking brain to
Insperity,
shoot themselves right
providing
now?
scalable HR services, access to better benefits, payroll, and HR technology for over 35 years. Insperity's mission is to help businesses succeed so communities prosper. Insperity, HR that makes a difference. Visit Insperity.com.
Simple print and marketing services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends $4.15. Visit staples.com/print big for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where prints are perfect, guaranteed. Why did you do sweet James? You're hurt in a car, motorcycle, or trucking accident? Oh, let the results speak for themselves. Here's some of the settlements won for injured victims by the attorneys at Sweet James. $29 million won for a client hurt in a multiple vehicle accident.
Oh my
$11
Christ.
million won for a client hurt in a
I don't
trucking
believe
accident.
it.
$1 million for a client hurt in a motorcycle accident. Sweet James wins. Clients hurt in these types of cases 98% of the time. They settle more money in 1 year than most firms settle in their life. So if you're hurt in any accident and results matter to you, call the attorneys at Sweet James. Pay nothing until they win. They can't guarantee the outcome of any case, but it's important you have an experienced and successful law firm on your side. Get a free consultation at 800-500-5200, 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200 at sweetjames.com.
You cannot complain about what's happening in your area if you're not going to take it upon yourself to help put someone in office that is going to be the best person to bring about active change. We're not getting out to vote, but we want to complain after? No, this is far Southern California. This is SoCal Saturday. Koala Sharp. Saturday evening at 5 on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI AM 640. Bill Handle here. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Back we go. More Handle on the news on this Wednesday. Jennifer, Wayne, me.
All right, you have one case where you have former President Trump who's in court over the legal fees that he paid to Michael Cohen to hush money to Stormy Daniels. That same day, there was a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that ordered Stormy Daniels to pay more than $121,000 in legal fees to former President Trump. In that case, in the case that Daniels had sued Trump for defamation, lost, and now she needs to pay his legal fees.
Yeah, it was her defamation case gone awry. So it was a win, a rare win for the president, giving, well, let's say not a lot of credence to Stormy Daniels in general. People are looking at him stooping Stormy Daniels and hiding it as well, depends on which side of the coin you're at. Either it happened or it didn't happen. She is simply innocent because she was under the wiles of the president, or at that point, not the president, just before the election. You're giving the rolling eyes, Wayne. No, I thought you were rolling your eyes just before you nail me. With something or other, either an opinion or going, no, you're wrong, or least popular Pornhub channel. Yes.
Hey, Steve Gregory's coming on with you at 8 to dive into this in depth, but now the number of LAPD officers suing the department for negligently releasing their photos is over 300 of them, and also one of the attorneys representing these officers says that there are several undercover operations that had to be shut down because of the photos of these undercover officers coming out, and also that he heard
that he's saying he heard from a supervisor at LAPD that some of these undercover officers have been threatened.
Well, you're going to need some kind of proof, but it certainly adds to the lawsuit and the severity of the negligence of Michael Moore. And Michael Moore, LAPD chief, has already said we made a mistake. Yes, that is not going to help the city of Los Angeles when it's going to settle. Obviously, this thing isn't going to trial. There's no way. Moore has already admitted negligence at this point. So
This is about how much each officer gets.
that's it. Nothing less, nothing more. And but it's every officer, isn't it? In the
Right now,
LAPD.
it's the officers who were working undercover.
Right.
The
Understood.
regular patrol officers and those people, they have no case. They have no claim. They're not making one.
Why wouldn't they have a claim? Because their information is out also.
This is all department information. Their department information is subject to freedom of information request. But undercover officers' information can, and the point here would be, should be withheld from any such requests.
And I was under the impression that it was the release of information available now with all 9,000 police.
Well, that's what happened. Is they got a request and they released everything, including the stuff they really shouldn't have.
All right, there may be a case of human trafficking that has been uncovered in Carson, and now there's a $100,000 reward for this missing teenager, 16-year-old Alinka Castaneda, on January 19th. Called her mom after being missing for about a month, saying that she was, they're not letting me go, I don't know where I am, and then she says she has to hang up. Now, she had previously been seen by her family leaving her home early on New Year's Day. She didn't have a credit card, ID, no change of clothes, so everything would have looked like she was coming back because she had nothing with her. All of a sudden, she's gone. Her mom says that her daughter really didn't hang out with many friends, but she met a young man 2 days before her disappearance. And her cell phone has remained disconnected. Her social media accounts have been disabled. And so that's why the sheriff's department does not think that this is a case of a runaway, but that this could be human trafficking, because the girl is able to call and say, oh my gosh, I've been taken, or here's where I am, they won't let me go. Where is that? She doesn't know. And then she has to hang up.
Family's going through hell.
Nightmare.
Yeah, completely.
Well, Kevin De Leon, the big winner, the people trying to recall him over his racist remarks and get him off of the city council of Los Angeles are the losers. Apparently, they did not get enough signatures to trigger a recall election. So he, barring some an act of God or a change of heart on his part, he will remain there until he turns out in the end of next year.
And I don't know how much power he has at this point. I don't think he's sitting on any committees. He's effectively a vote, and that's it.
Well, but a vote is a vote.
Yeah, a vote is a vote. That's true. The other thing I want to add to this is when you talk about him winning, and he did, it is a win for him because he successfully fought off a recall. It is more not that he successfully fought it off, it's how hard it is to have a recall succeed. That's California. We don't do recalls very well. I can remember two, and that's it. Ray Davis, who was recalled, and Arnold Schwarzenegger came into office, and Rose Byrd, the Chief Justice of the California Supreme Court, who deserved to be recalled for sure, because she said outright, I don't care what the law says, I am against the death penalty, and I will never vote for the death penalty and will vote to overturn any conviction. Well, you can't do that. She said, I'm not going to follow the law. And she's the Chief Justice. Boom, she's gone. And Gray Davis had to do with the scandal with the electrical. Do you remember the power scandal where we got completely nailed through the roof? Yeah.
85 million Americans are at risk of yet another severe storm, and these are in places where you had tornadoes devastate places over the weekend. So it's Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, and Michigan. At least 5 tornadoes were reported yesterday. 2 2 in Iowa, 3 in Illinois, and there are more on the way today. They had crazy hail all over that area, and
No, I'm sorry, I'm listening. I'm trying to go back to CNN. I just got alert from CNN. There are fatalities and injuries reported as a result of one of the tornadoes.
oh, I'm
thinking, I know you're doing the story, and this just came.
sorry, I just heard the voice. I thought,
Yeah, no, that's
what do
me.
I have up?
No, I
What do I
have.
have up?
Yeah, I know, and I have to turn off the sound here.
But yeah, these tornadoes are. If you've seen any of the pictures this morning, there was a motorhome that had essentially had almost, it looked like a part of a garage or a house on top of the motorhome. So imagine how high a motorhome stands, and then imagine a structure on top of that motorhome. It's just, the devastation is unfathomable, especially if you're somebody who's lived in California all their life like I have. You've never seen anything like this. It's
Oh
crazy.
my God.
Yeah, hail the size of softballs.
I've
That I've never heard of.
Can you imagine that
What
insurance claim?
Yeah, but what do you get hit? How is it that no one ever gets hit? And their hit would explode. Hail coming down at that speed, and it's the size of softballs, and we're talking ice, compressed ice.
But what's your roof like after that? Even if you didn't get hit, you took shelter inside, how damaged is your roof?
No
with that
chat,
kind
we
of
got
impact?
It's pretty banged up. I don't know if it would go through the roof, but it's pretty banged up. I would think it would be a little more hurtful, or it hurts more if it just smashed you on the head.
Well, true.
You are
that-
fucking me.
Yeah, and usually a hail, little size of peas is considered a pretty good size, and golf balls is considered huge hail. Softballs? You know, that's the size of a big matzo ball if you've ever been to a deli and you know what I'm talking about.
Or you
Matzo
could just
ball
say,
size hail. We can move on. Well, rescue teams are finishing up their work, and
these guys, it's a struggle. Every fucking morning I listen to this. Oh my God. They're just reading fucking shit.
Survivors from the snow, and then they had to call off the search yesterday because it got dark and the weather was bad. And they're finishing up their work in that area this morning. I've not heard that they found anybody else. Yeah. Are these people that are trying to climb mountains or just going along? No, this is on a road. This is on a road that goes between this state, this Indian Himalayan state, and Tibet. And it is a popular route for a pilgrimage. I don't know that much about it, but it's a very holy pilgrimage for Hindus. Yeah, well, I feel a lot worse for these people than someone going up to climb Mount Everest or K2 and getting caught up. As in, what are you doing? This is, you're living your life.
Yep.
We'll be back. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
This is a persecution, not an investigation.
Former President Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records for an alleged hush money payment made during his 2016 presidential campaign. Trump spoke to supporters yesterday at his home in Mar-a-Lago, saying Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg is the real criminal for illegally leaking grand jury information.
For which he should be prosecuted, or at a minimum, he should resign.
Trump is the first former president in U.S. history to be criminally charged. Prosecutors say the indictment involves multiple payoffs to 2 women, including a porn actress who claims she had sexual encounters with Trump years before the election. News is brought to you by WDC Kitchen and Bath Center. Fire at an apartment building in Buena Park has forced 11 people out of their homes. It started about 2 this morning, but firefighters almost an hour to put it out. No injuries were reported, and the Red Cross was called to help the families who were displaced. Police in San Bernardino County have arrested a person in connection with the fatal shooting of a man in Chino. Officers say they found the man dead from gunshot wounds over the weekend in a parking lot on Philadelphia Avenue. Police arrested a 21-year-old man Monday for murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Police say they still are pursuing additional leads. Washington State has purchased a 3-year supply of leading abortion medications. Governor Jay Inslee says the purchase comes in anticipation of a court ruling that could limit its availability. The Democratic governor said yesterday he ordered the Department of Corrections to buy 30,000 doses of a generic version of the drug. The FDA approved the pill over 20 years ago. Research shows the pill, when combined with another, is the most common form of abortion in the U.S. And animal advocates are asking people to skip the Easter bunnies.
Rabbit rescue groups across Southern California are once again urging people not to buy bunnies as Easter gifts for kids. They say many times after the novelty of having a bunny wears off, the rabbits are abandoned. Instead, rescue groups and animal control officials recommend buying a stuffed toy bunny or chocolate candy rabbit for kids' Easter baskets. Advocates for the animals do want them to be adopted into loving homes, saying they can't be wonderful companions for those who are serious about the commitment. Deborah Mark, KFI News.
We'll get a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky and the 101 in just a moment, but first it's Sports with Wayne.
The Lakers got past the Utah Jazz in overtime. LeBron James scored 37 points in the 135-133 victory. Today, it's all LA. The Lakers and Clippers play each other at 7. You can hear it live on AM 570 LA Sports. Baseball, Leo Urias tossed 6 scoreless innings. The Dodgers beat the Colorado Rockies 5-2 to win the short series. Boys and Blue are off today. The Angels were trounced by the Seattle Mariners to score their 11-2. That series wraps up today. It'll be Shohei Ohtani on
by a little bit warmer today than yesterday. We'll be in the mid to upper 60s, and it looks like then we'll inch up toward the mid 70s by Easter Sunday. Right now it's 43 in Brea, 44 in Dana Point. Let's get a look at your drive on the 101. Jeff Bob, good morning.
Good morning, right back. Thanks, Jennifer. Good morning to you. Yes, indeed. I just warn you about kind of a minor problem, but this is westbound 101, the Ventura Freeway at the Van Nuys Boulevard off-ramp. That's a huge off-ramp that was built a while. There's a lot of activity to that enormous white shoulder area, but a lot of lights and stuff, so don't let it distract you. Now, attention all drivers using the South 405. Boy, there's a bad problem coming out from the 118 already. South 405, before Burbank Boulevard, carpool left lane. We were orbiting this for a while. We had to leave because of Van Nuys Airport, but a huge backup that already is just south of about Oscar Boulevard. So right now, Sepulveda Boulevard is in pretty good shape all the way down to the 101. Might want to think about using it. Long delays there. Get on the Burbank, you're okay. Because up and over the hill, things are good. Now, right now, as I speak to you, we're coming up on the 4 level. South Hollywood, if that's where you are headed, it's looking real good. It's getting a little slow at Echo Park here, approaching the 4 level. But that's it, just slow. I think we're off to a pretty good start here. Jeff KFI in the sky.
Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where prints are perfect, guaranteed. Uline is here for the hard workers, for the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com. As your old patio or driveway seen better days, transform your outdoors with System Pavers. For a limited time, save up to thousands with free demolition. Call 800-PAVE-004 or visit SystemPavers.com to get started. All orders must be placed by April 30th. See website for details. Contractor's license 361575. Insurance companies play hardball, but with Jacoby Myers on your side, you'll level the playing field. With over 50 years of experience, trust Jacoby Myers to protect your rights and get you the compensation you deserve. Call Jacoby Myers, the official law firm of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Losing your air conditioning on a hot summer day can be a sweating all nightmare, and no one wants that, Zach. Help your air conditioner last longer and reduce breakdowns with a rejuvenation.
We'll make 6 critical adjustments so you'll stay cool, use less energy, and increase the life of your system.
And we'll clean the outdoor coils the right way, not the easy way.
Rejuvenation, just $129.
Ghetto Air Conditioning and Plumbing. GOETTL.com. We'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell. License number 1047781.
Southern California Edison wants you and your family to be prepared in an emergency. What's in your safety kit? A little preparation can go a long way. You should have an easy-to-reach kit that includes basic necessities like first aid supplies, emergency food, water, medication, and important phone numbers. That's a start, but there's more. Learn about other tools and supplies you can prepare with at fee.com/be prepared.
KFI, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. As we continue, Bill Handel here with the morning crew. Let's continue on with more Handel on the news. Jennifer and Wayne and me.
This happened actually during our show yesterday. It became official that Finland joined NATO, and now Russia says it's going to have these countermeasures, whatever that may be. Now, the reason Russia doesn't like this is because of the border space that it increased by Finland joining that now has NATO protection on it. Now that NATO is now that Finland is a NATO country, it now has all that bumped up border property now has protection behind it where it didn't before. Russia doesn't like that.
Yeah, well, 1,500 miles, and it's not a question of protection. Russia views this as an out-and-out threat. He's painting NATO as at any moment about to invade the Russian Federation, invade Russia. A lot like Kim Jong-un. Everything is a defense, no matter what he does.
Well, everybody Putin is convinced is against it.
Putin is made at some point. I wonder what conversations he has with his top advisors, or maybe just with himself as he shaves in the morning, saying, "You know, we might have blown it here. Maybe this wasn't such a good move. Or maybe not. But in the at some point, he's going to have to admit it. Maybe he never will. Maybe he never will. Because you had people that went down, and it was the fault of everybody else. As they were going down. Hitler, for example. Not I'm comparing Putin to Hitler because it's not even close to the same level. But in terms of achievements, it's pretty close.
And just think of all the top military officials that he's let go.
Yeah, because
he blames them.
Yeah, it's a miserable war. Another dust-up going on in Israel. I guess another day, another dust-up in that part of the world. It started, apparently, with some Palestinian militants firing rockets into Gaza. Israel responded with airstrikes that they said hit weapon production sites. Then, Israeli police went into the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem and clashed with worshippers there. And that's the thing that's got Arab countries crying foul, and people, in the occupied territories crying foul. Yeah, Wayne, it was from Gaza to Israel, not the other way around when it started. Oh, yeah, sorry. And this is in reference. I mean, the Palestinians are getting really pissed off because there's sort of an unwritten agreement that Israel allows Al-Aqsa Mosque. That's on top of the mount, where the Western Wall is. They used to call it the Wailing Wall. Remember that? Yep. But I got confused with Bob Marley and some concerts that he had. And it was the radical right of the super right-wing part of the Israeli population are ignoring sort of that unwritten rule in terms of leaving that alone. They just go right up there and start praying, and there is that's a huge contention that's going on, and it's the same complaint that Palestinians have had forever. And what Israel is doing now, that it's the right-wing government, is allowing and not bothering, not stopping
on the website. What would this even do?
Hard right settlers, hard right people that trade will just go up there on the mount.
Wow.
It's just I'm going to blame Israel on this one for fomenting all of this. And usually I'm pro-Israeli, but this one, the far right is really screwing up this country. I'm talking about Israel. I could say that for a few other countries too.
The White House says it is working to make that imprisoned Wall Street Journal journalist a wrongfully detained American. And what this does is, if you change the designation, it allows the U.S. to push more aggressively for Evan Gershkovich's release as this legal process plays out in Russia. I was talking with Karen Travers earlier this morning. Apparently, the U.S. Embassy has not been able to see Evan Gershkovich since he was taken into custody by Russia, but his lawyers have gone in. They say that he's in good health and that he's in good spirits and that he's strong. But it is, at this point now, you had, Sergei Lavrov. Can picture his face. And our envoy, there's the right? Blinken, thank you. He called Sergei Lavrov and said that, like, hey, you've got to let this guy out because he's not a spy. Gershkovich has been in Russia since 2017, even worked for the Moscow Times. Why all of a sudden does Russia suddenly think that he's a spy?
Well, they don't think he's a spy.
Of course they don't.
I mean, it's just obviously
That's my point.
Trump, of course, trumped up charges.
Silly.
And not allowing consular officials to go visit him is not unusual. This is what Russia does.
And I guess they're saying, oh no, we're letting you. It's just the process is so filled with red tape that the embassy can't get there.
And the attorneys defending him are Russians, who are appointed by the Russian government, and at least they appear to do a pretty good job defending.
That car that was sitting in the front of my door.
With our prayers and everything.
It looked like a brand new Cadillac.
I wouldn't want to be Gershkovich. He could end up spending years and years in prison, like Paul Whelan, where he just sit there and rock. Chicago has a new mayor-elect. It's Cook County Commissioner Brandon Johnson, who defeated Paul Vallis to replace Lori Lightfoot, who, under any other circumstances, if I just told you there's an incumbent mayor in a big city and they're up for re-election, you would never imagine they're not going to be re-elected. But she managed to do it, to not get re-elected because people had enough of the crime, primarily in that city. And these two candidates were dueling about how best to tackle the crime problem. And I mean, it wasn't a huge blowout. Johnson 51.5%, Vallis 48.5%. Of the vote. Take a break. We'll come back. Finish up handle on the news this Wednesday morning. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Former President Trump will not be back in court until December after yesterday's historic arraignment. He pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records. A major tornado-generating storm is threatening more than 62 million Americans across the central U.S. Forecasters say tornadoes are possible in southeastern Missouri, and also it looks like we could have severe weather on the Gulf Coast to the upper Great Lakes and into the Northeast. And media mogul Rupert Murdoch has apparently called off his engagement. The 92-year-old was set to marry 66-year-old Ann Leslie Smith. This would have been Murdoch's fifth marriage.
Probably.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a mostly sunny day ahead, a little bit warmer with highs in the mid to upper 60s. This report is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. This time we're going to check out the 5.
That's dog. That's okay. I'm live on kick. Which one? Okay, I can't guess. We didn't even know there were multiple. Yeah, which one though? We'll find.
All the rest of the East Atlanta, but you'll be okay. Back San Fernando Valley. Now we had to leave this, but South 405 Street, 405 Bank Boulevard, 25
Their setup is so sick. Is that real?
Pretty good shape. Go all the way down to the 101. You can even get on
This is the dog. Yo, this is the dog. They're only 7 minutes. There's 5 minutes of the year. Okay, it's streaming.
Whether you're just starting your watch collection or expanding it, check out Bob's Watches for one of the largest and finest selection of pre-owned, modern, and vintage luxury watches. Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Tour, they have them all. Buy, sell, trade. All orders get free overnight shipping. All watches independently certified, authentic. Bob's Watches, a leading online luxury time.
Check that fucking connection, bitch.
And now $200 off. Google Bob's Watches.
Yo.
Bill handle, click at the top to get your discount.
I was like, oh, fine,
Essential veggie at Whole Foods Market. Organic asparagus is just $3.29 per pound this time through April 11th. Blanch it, grill it, or use it to supercharge your weeknight stir fry. While supplies last, shop in store or online.
Okay. Let's go.
This report is
Yo, should we go fishing? He'd be like, yeah, we will. Just hold on. Come on, man. It's important. I know. I gotta do a thing. My friend was like, oh, I was coming over. I'm like, gosh, I know all your friends. Who is it? Oh, Bilal is coming over. Oh, okay. I know Bilal. Bilal and I ate breakfast together. Oh, you know Bilal? Oh, man. Like, yo, Bilal came to my house for Thanksgiving. Yoshi went, oh, dog. Oh, can you introduce me to Bilal? Shut the fuck up. Yoshi. I really liked how this one was like, exiting subscription to channel chat rooms. Oh. Oh, okay.
And Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday too.
Yoshi. I like how it says streaming, but you know it's live. Really? Find your stream. If it's streaming, find it. What's your exception? I like it when it would go like, Yosh, how aren't you fucking? And it's like, oh, dude, why aren't you fucking viral? If I just had normal internet. Who do you blame? My landlord. Why? Because I've complained about it so many times. It's in my contract and something for which I pay, and it needs to be fixed. And he doesn't. And I've even had his son on it, or if he's the landlord, I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit at this point. And they're just like, oh, okay. And I'm like, dog, I paid for this. And he lost a job because of it. They're like, oh, okay. We got a shower. I'd be like, dog, fix fucking internet. And I have money to shower. Yeah, you got a shower. Fuck you, dude. Yosh. Oh, Yosh, I'd be like, oh, dog, come over here. Hang out all my friends. Oh, I'm going over to Bilal's. Please tell me, like, error conception or something. What the fuck happened here? Remember when I was like, oh, dude, this one's working really, really well.
With all this struggle, Steve should get inspired. Absolutely, Bruce. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that gives you comfortable, restful sleep with the click of a remote. That's right, the button. As you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. There's no mask and no hose. Just sleep. Learn more at inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com.
Push your error. Existing subscription to channel chat rooms. Oh, okay.
A light source system gives you filtered and delicious water straight from every tap. It filters out chlorine, other contaminants, retaining healthy minerals. The light source system is maintenance-free, no filter change, no salt, no servicing. They install it, you forget it. Own a light source water system for only $75 per month on approval of credit. This ends April 30th. Call 800-803. Visit
followforfollow.com. Yo.
Power Trip. Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden, CDC,
What in the fuck happened here, yo? You got banned, didn't you?
All thanks to Golden Boys. Register now to buy tickets at powertrip.com.
7 dimensions. Where are they? You are an No, no.
Billionaire is a loaded word when it comes off of the little bread, moist, and still somehow flaky. It's a Bernie Sanders.
There you go.
Billionaire, he's using it in
a
derogatory way. And Howard Schultz is saying, listen, everything I got, I earned. Gary and Shannon, everything.
Yo.
And this is KFI handle here.
Yosh.
Jan, I think this is you. Jan? Liberal wins Wisconsin.
Oh, I was still on the other one.
They are so bad at their jobs. You would think that they would be like, okay, we're going to go 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. Somebody skips 1, you think you'd be smart enough to go to the next one. Oh, I thought we were on number 6. Oh, dude, I don't know what number 6 is. Read me the fucking news.
Likely to reverse the state's abortion ban and end the use of gerrymandered legislative maps that were drawn by Republicans.
Are you fucking me?
I don't know how they can unravel the court at this
Oh, I lost 49% of my thing.
The law.
Okay, that's like a who problem.
Constitutional protections. And how does the court then say you have an illegality when the legislature passes the law? Unless legality when the legislature passes the law. Unless based on the gerrymandering and the court says that that is illegal the way the legislature is actually creating based on the gerrymandering. That I can see the court invalidating. Man, if you're thinking about getting a passport for some summer travel, you better put it in now. Because there is,
I swear to God, if this thing shows and it goes that thing, what's it say?
For passports, they're
Existing subscription to channel.
500,000 passport applications a week. All of that, according to the Secretary of State.
I don't even know what that means.
Now, they will tell you, the State Department will tell you, it takes 10 to 13 weeks to get your passport.
Why does it take so fucking long? 10 to 13 weeks.
And expedite the process, and it'll take 7 to 9 weeks.
I paid that once.
If you don't
Really.
get your application in at least 20 weeks in advance, you could find yourself scrambling at the
It's like, dude, it doesn't take 20 fucking weeks. This should be a one-day process. And it's like the people in government are like, well, what do we do about it? How are we going to speed up the process? Fuck you.
It's several $100s, but you will be able to get a passport. And if it's a question of you're not about to get on an airplane on your vacation coming up sometime this summer, because you don't have the time, you may want to consider it. I know someone who has a family member, and they're waiting for their passport, and they're sweating bullets. And I was very great, Mr. Optimist. No chance these folks are going to go to Europe. One will, but
Be connecting.
so tell him to enjoy himself, because he's going to end up in San Diego for vacation.
Not that it's not lovely there.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
Losing an airfare of $1,100. Yeah, that's pleasant. So it's going to be a miserable travel season because according to the U.S. Travel Association,
Channel's currently offline.
70% of Americans say they plan to travel.
You are allowed new features, whatever. Following.
Yeah, agreed.
Huh?
That is, I travel every summer.
Follow my
Travel.
settings.
I know, it was miserable last summer.
Are you traveling this summer?
I am.
See?
What was this? Disconnection protection.
California Public School
About
enrollment
Rabbi
continues
Rothschild.
to go down. Enrollment for the
Banner
2022-23 school year is down 0.69%. That represents 40,000 students from the previous year, and this year's decline is higher than those of each of the 5 years prior. And they say a substantial improvement, though, considering what we went through during
when I went profile,
and
and it was like, oh yeah, you should be like, oh my god, Mike went in profile, and it was like, it was so sick. Really? Yosh, tell everybody. Well, Mike went in profile, and it was like, oh, I'm sorry.
More so than we ever have. And we kind of like it. People signing contracts with an X, for example. There's just something wonderful about that.
I want to see, in comparison to this, enrollment in, say, things like charter schools or private schools, or how many parents decided, I'm going to homeschool my kids.
People who start homeschooling their kids, let me tell you, that is not an easy thing to do. Most of them are religious folks, simply because they view any kind of public or education, or certainly
Invalid aspect ratio.
doesn't go far enough religiously.
Oh, so it works
So they
there?
homeschool their kids. It is a bear to homeschool your kids. I mean, it is full-time virtually. So you've got to be pretty.
What the fuck?
You got to be pretty engaged in, being homeschooling your kids. I mean, it's a full-time job.
I just wonder how many parents were sort of forced into the homeschooling role during the pandemic, even though their kids might have been doing classes online, and thought to themselves, I can do a better job than this, and just never have really left that trend.
Well, a lot of kids who homeschool, they come out with this. Oh, okay. So back in 2018, Purdue University.
Oh, okay. Like, oh, okay. Oh, it's my turn.
Money breaks, and they take the methodology from this study and they plug in the current cost of living information in order to update the salary you need to earn in order to be happy. And in California, the minimum salary now needed to be, quote, happy is $145,000. Well, California has a very high cost of living, so that might not be a big surprise. What I found cost of living, so that might not be a big surprise. What I found surprising is when you look at the bottom, the states where you need the least amount of money to be happy, Mississippi, but you still need to make over $88,000 a year to be happy. Now, some people would argue if you're going to be happy in Mississippi, you need to make even more than you're making in California. But that's a lot of money. On surveys, people happy or unhappy. And you know the old saw, and it sometimes makes sense. And that is, money won't buy, but you sure as hell can rent happiness if you can't buy it for this much money. We stone. Yeah, I think we can do one more.
Can we end with number 20?
Sure, why not?
It's really, this next story is all about me. Please do not buy your child an Easter bunny. Because what often happens is bunnies end up in the shelters after Easter. So a parent goes and instead of getting their kid, whatever, a chocolate bunny, how about a stuffed Easter bunny, an Easter bunny stuffed animal? They go and actually get their kid a freaking bunny, and the bunnies end up in shelters. And who goes to the shelters to promote them? Who is scared, crapless of bunny? Me.
Okay.
That's how it comes back to me. Please don't make me go to shelters filled with bunnies. Thank you.
On seatbelts that you don't accidentally see a bunny.
That's how much I hate the damn thing.
I know. All right, we're done. We are done, boys and
16
girls.
by hand. 16 by hand.
Coming up, the Trump indictment unsealed. Please
What
not
in the
guilty
fuck?
to 34 counts. I'll explain everything that happened. And a big on the number of protesters that were in Manhattan in front of the courtroom. This is KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
If you already know what you want us to say, you're probably in the wrong place.
KFI.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Not guilty, he says. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
The participant scheme was illegal.
Former President Trump has pleaded not guilty in New York to 34 felony counts of
Yosh.
falsifying business records. Campbell will talk more about this in a second. The charges for
Yosh.
alleged hush money payments made during Alvin Bragg said yesterday Trump and others were part of a catch-and-kill scheme to buy and suppress negative.
Which makes it a crime to conspire to promote a candidacy by unlawful means.
Bragg says Trump repeatedly made false statements on his business records and also caused others to make false statements. Trump is the first former president in U.S. history to be criminally charged. He told supporters at his home in Mar-a-Lago he never thought anything like this could happen. The Trump campaign has come out with a T-shirt that has a fake mugshot of Trump on it and the words "not guilty" below it. A 47 custody. LAPD Chief Moore says the new page on the department's website is dedicated to showing the photos of people who have been murdered throughout the city.
It is our hope people will remember the importance of helping families bring some small measure of closure by identifying those responsible and bringing them before the criminal justice system.
Moore says investigators are working with the families of those killed to get personal photos and background information to help humanize each of the cases. Moore says they also update the post when someone has been arrested in the case. The page is at LAPD.online.
Saving.
More than 320 undercover officers in the LAPD have filed.
I swear to God, if this doesn't work.
The release of their photos to an anti-police activist.
The attorney for the officer says the unredacted release of information has not only impacted officer safety, but has also impacted public safety. I can tell you.
Oh my God. Well, then guess what? You're a little shitbag who tells them everybody, you little bastards. Hope you fucking die. Hope they fucking found you and be like, hey, dude, you're on the internet. Shoot these motherfuckers. Why? That's like the worst kind of cop. Undercover. Like, you're fucking corrupt as fucking undercover. Why? Because these fuckers touch women. They pretend like they're Johns. They do all kinds of weird shit. No. You want to shoot a man? I'd be like, dude, then I just think at Africa.
18-year-old Mona Rodriguez brain dead. Attorney for Rodriguez family, Michael Carrillo, says this has been one of the most painful cases.
I've been to hear Mona's mother, Manuela.
Yo, dog, that's cool.
She's missing every day.
And then what? Did it save?
Rodriguez left behind a 5-month-old when she was killed in 2021, and now her shooter's awaiting trial for second-degree murder.
Oh, I wonder if it did it down there. Oh my God, if it didn't.
Been offered to help find a hit-and-run motorcycle rider who crashed into
What
a
the fuck?
13-year-old Royal Heights, causing the boy to lose a leg. The teen was crossing Whittier Boulevard in a crosswalk Thursday when the motorcycle rider hit him. The rider was knocked off his
Yo.
bike but got back on and rode away. The boy is still in the hospital. A GoFundMe has been set up to help pay the boy's medical bills. And a passenger on a Virgin Voyages cruise ship has been killed in a fall from a balcony near Miami. The ship had just left for Honduras Sunday when the person fell and landed on a lower deck. A person on that lower deck was not seriously hurt. We'll get a look at your drive with EKFI in the sky in the 605, but first it's Sports with Wayne.
The Dodgers scored first against the
Oh, there you go.
Rockies thanks to Will Smith. 1-0. There's a fly ball to left field. Profar goes back to the wall. He looks up and it is gone. A home run. The boys in blue won 5-2, and they're off today. The Angels fell hard to the Seattle Mariners in an 11-2 drubbing. As series concludes today, it'll be Shohei Ohtani on the mound. And an NBA action is live on AL 135-133 overtime win against the Jazz. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. Unfiltered, chlorinated tap water is tap water. I mean, it's safe, but it just doesn't taste very good. And the Life Source system, very different. Life Source system gives you filtered, delicious water straight from every tap. And that's because it's filtered from outside the home and it goes inside the home. So every tap faucet produces this water, filters out chlorine, contaminants.
I swear to fucking God.
Healthy minerals, tastes great. The
Yo,
Life Source system is maintenance-free, no filters to change. I mean, once installed, you can just forget it
That motherfucker's
and
not
enjoy the
gonna
water.
be so pissed.
You're bathing, you're cooking, you're washing
Yo.
dishes, your clothes.
What
or
the
you're
fuck
drinking
happened
what is
here?
effectively bottled water, or what you're cooking, you're washing
Yo.
dishes, your clothes.
What
or
the
you're
fuck
drinking
happened
what is
here?
effectively bottled water, or what a cup of coffee is. I've had a Life Source system for over 10 years. You can have a system for as low as $75 per month.
In the mid-70s.
Ha 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 ha, bitch. Shut the fuck
47
up.
right now in Santa Monica, 43 in Pasadena, 44 in Dana Point.
Reconnecting.
KFI Financial Report is brought to you by Jacoby and Myers. The Dow is up 63, S&P is down 9, NASDAQ is down 83, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in S&P is down 9, NASDAQ is down 83, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in S&P is down 9, NASDAQ is down 83, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.84. Don't wait. Maximize your compensation after an accident. Call Jacoby and Myers now. Justice for you since 1972. Let's get a look at your drive on the 605.
Yoshi, remember when that was a thing? Yoshi, you want to tell a story? Oh, you want me to tell a story? Well, my guy went over here and he was like, oh, I'll take the bed. And I was like, oh.
Check it out. It's in pretty good shape.
Yoshi, what in the fuck is this?
Through this 60, around Washington Boulevard is where it gets slow, so pretty good report.
Oh, Yoshi did the thing where you click following and it's like, oh, dog.
Earlier, there was a car fire around Newhall.
That was a good one. Pusher error. It just
Created that flag from Azusa to the 605. That's not the slow section. Improves a lot going into the 710 and the I-5. No problems there. We just came down to Separate. Matter of fact, we're just about to turn north 405 from the 710. I was a little concerned about a problem north of the 710 in Florence. The busy spot with people getting on the freeway. There's a shoulder problem to turn off. So the pace, well, from the 91 hour. Other than that, we're in fairly good shape here. Quick look at Orange County. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I don't see any major problems there.
I see one in my fucking internet, huh?
Down towards Santa Ana, kind of slow, but I don't think too bad. Jeff KFI in the sky. This hour of the Bill Handel Show brought to you by Jacoby and Myers. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season. You can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here. Still waiting for your employee retention tax credit? Biz2 Credit knows the government may be slow, but small business can't be. Our ERTC loan offers cash now for your tax credit with funding in as little as 72 hours. ERTC loans keep your business going with interest-only payment.com/ERTC loan for full terms and conditions.
Southern California Edison. Stay alert, stay safe.
More stimulants was the fact that imagine this: the money was paid to have her shut up, and therefore the reason that money was paid is to have her public with her story and interfere with the election. Okay, so one of two things:
interfering with the election in and of itself is criminal. And in fact, the member reasonable doubt. Is it possible?